Oh man, how long has it been since I've last done a what if? Anyways, welcome back to another what if. This is what if Asta could edit magic. I know it's been a while since I've last done a what if or or a Black Clover what if in general. I did a post recently about 4 days ago asking if people wanted to see a Black Clover what if, and most of you said yes. So here it is. Um, Thanks for everybody who showed their support on the Nora Clan what if. It means the world to me. Um, I really freaking appreciate it. Um, this what if is not inspired by the anime. I think it's called the dungeon only I can enter in English. Although I did watch it a couple of days ago, and I'm still waiting on that episode 12. Um, I have not, this is not inspired by that anime. I actually got this from a friend, and these powers differ from the powers of the main character in that series. Anyways, I'm gonna stop wasting time. Oh, before I do that, make sure to join my Discord server. A lot of you have been asking for my Discord server. It's always in the link in the description. So anybody who wants to join or wants to have a good time down there, in my Discord server, go ahead and join. It's a fun place where you can talk to me or other people who like the same topics as you. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and hop in. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's get straight into the what if.
Yoxi. Yoxi.
So, basically, before I start the what if, I'm gonna go over some of his, I guess, like his powers, so it makes more sense uh, later on. Basically, Asta's powers are to copy and edit magic. So basically, for example, Yuno's Wind Slash or just Wind Magic in general. He could copy one move, which would be the Wind Slash, or any other move, for example. For this example, I'll be using the Wind Slash. He could edit it to the point where it's different, it's completely different from what would be Yuno's magic. Of course, there would be a Wind Slash, but every time it hits the opponent, for example, it would drain their magic and give it to Asta, meaning infinite magic. That's if the user has a lot of magic. But there are weaknesses to this overpowered ability. First weakness would be Asta would need to know everything about this type of magic. Like for example, if it would be wind magic, he would need to know like the history behind it and how to use this magic. It wouldn't just be like, "Ha, bitch, I got your magic and now I can use it." No, he has to be able to. His body has to be able to endure that kind of magic. It can't just be like, "Oh, I can use flesh magic now," like Lucifero. I think that's who. And I think he could use flesh magic. His body has to be able to develop into that. He can't just instantly use the magic. I mean, if his body is really durable, he could probably use it. But as I said, he needs to have an understanding of the magic beforehand as well. Um, Second weakness would be that when Asta is is in his when Asta is using magic, for example, or just editing magic in general, this Asta would be completely different from his happy-go-lucky attitude because his demon kind of takes over for a second. Um, Kind of like how Meliodas when he goes into his like dark state or wrath state. I think I don't really remember what it's called. Kind of loses his emotions. That would be kind of how Asta would be. Because I mean it's just his devil. Anyways, with all that out of the way, we're just gonna get right into it now. So basically, of course, Asta and would be dropped off at what would be the church's doorstep. And just like in canon, would be born with the gift of magic, while Asta, on the other hand, would have a sliver of magic, unlike in canon. But he would kind of get jealous of what would be, this time around, even though they're brothers and they're both best friends. He would still kind of get jealous because he thinks that, you know, is gets everything because he's a goat, he's the goat. Yeah, I can't lie. He's pretty overpowered. He gets everything. Um, so ever since Asta was like a small little child, like maybe 4 or 5, he would start trying to work out, trying to overpower what would be his brother and his best friend. Um, Working out, trying to use more magic, trying to develop his endurance, making his magic pool, or I don't know, making his mana pool more bigger. I'm gonna use mana for now because that's the easiest thing I can say for everybody who's like, everybody who's wondering what mana is. Basically, like the thing that helps them use magic. Or I can just say magic pool. I don't really care. Whichever you guys prefer. Damn, I'm running out of breath. So as I said, ever since like the age of 5 or 6, he starts training, his body to be able to, you know, use magic, I guess you could say, or maybe endure magic if he gets hit by what would be, swing slashes or just magic in general. Because he thinks to himself that he might not be able to use magic, or he might not get a grimoire. Um, so he doesn't really take this seriously, you know, until one day he sees using like pretty powerful moves. Like these are like F class magic spells, probably like even worse than that. But like it's like a little magic ball, I guess. And he's like kicking it around, and Asta sees this, and he's like, you know what? I want to start taking this seriously now. And around the age of 7 or 8, he starts actually working out pretty hard. Um, for the first month, he does 1 mile around. He does like 1 mile. He runs for 1 mile. Um, he does what would be 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups. Um, you know, and 50, I don't know, chin-ups, like the normal workout that you would usually do, like squats. And every month he would add like another, like he would double it basically, almost. Or yeah, double it basically. Um, so so basically, um, the next month he would add another mile to his run, and instead of having 50 setups to, or 50 push-ups to do, he would have 75 push-ups to do. And every month he would keep on doing the same. And by the end of the month, he would probably be doing like 12 miles, um, and like I don't know, 200 to 250 push-ups to pull-ups, and it would keep on increasing. And by the time he's like would be 10 years old, he has like big ass abs. Like you can actually see kind of scars on his body that of how much training he's done. Like this is not like an average boy's body. This is almost like a bodybuilder. Um and Asta can run really really fast. Like he can run a mile in like maybe like fucking 2 minutes, cause anime bullshit. um but he can run really fast, especially since he's been training for like 3 or 4 years. And he can, if he infuses mana to his legs, which he can't really do right now, but if he can, he would be going like super speed at this point. Not super speed, but he would be going pretty fast for his age. Seeing this, seeing how Asta trains every day, doesn't really train because he wants to let his brother be kind of ahead of him, like give him some sort of like, help, and like gives him like more, like shows him his like progress in training, seeing that he might actually be able to overpass his brother, gives Asta more encouragement. And of course, is doing this from the bottom of his heart because he is his brother and his best friend, as I said. Um, they've always been rivals and best friends at the same time. It's so heartwarming. I'm sorry. um, but yeah, and by the time I think they get their grimoires at what would be age 15. I'm not really sure. Asta on this, as I said, is still gonna be the happy-go-lucky. Um, sometimes that is sometimes. If he needs to be serious, I mean, I don't really like how Asta's shonen attitude is. It's always like, oh, I'm gonna protect my friends, and I don't really like that type of attitude. It's like I like the more of a Yami type attitude. Yami's a badass. I can't lie. um, um, yeah, I do like Yami's attitude way more than what would be any captains, because Yami is Yami, as you guys know. Um, anyways, around the age of 13 or 14, this is when around the time when um, Asta would start, I don't know, you know, picking battles with because he wants to like be able to spar. He wants to have like a sparring partner, and usually half the time Asta does come out on top due to the fact that his body is so strong. Like one punch of him, and he can create like a pretty big hole in the ground. Of course, he has to go easy on Yuno because he can't. He might smash his face in. We don't want to Detroit smash that motherfucker. I'm sorry. So he does go easy on especially on the punches. But can is using his magic. He want Asta. Asta has like usually in their fights, Asta can only use his body or just like normal punches and kicks and martial arts, I guess you can say. While Asta can only use magic. So both of them can like have like a an endurance to each other. Like Asta would have an endurance to magic, and would have an endurance to what would be like physical fighting. So when it comes down to the real world, they'll both be able to be capable in themselves. So like if runs out of magic, he can use hand to hand combat, which is good for both of them. And time rolls around, and the day their grimoire, and the day they have to get their grimoire, comes around. So of course, um, and Asta would start leaving what would be the church, and everybody wishes them well, because well, everybody loves them, and they think of them as like their own kids. Of course, to the outside world, they would look like fucking peasants, which pisses me off. I hate all like the nobles thinking they're better than everybody else, which really pisses me off actually. And this pisses Asta off a little bit as well. I don't think they did this in canon, but I'm gonna give this to Asta because I feel like he should have a little bit of vengeance towards the nobles, and maybe he wants to change the system. So they would go to what would be the Grimoire ceremony, I believe, which is in like a library. And so they walk in, and everybody avoids them because they're peasants, as they would call them. And man, I'm running out of breath. So they would all walk in, and the old man would start announcing that today is their day, that they finally are gonna be able to get their grimoires, choose their jobs. This is the day that their life actually begins. And to Asta, this is just a stepping stone, and for is the same. You know, I would say both Asta and Yuno's first day of life began when they were born, actually, not when they got their grimoires. They've been working, especially Asta has been working really hard. Um, so would, how can I say? Everybody else would start, you know, or I should say, the old man would announce that let the ceremony begin, and books would start flying all over the place, and everybody's like, you know, bragging, showing off to their friends, being like, I got a thicker book, or I got a longer book, or I got a short book, or some bullshit like that, like they always do, and of course, everybody would start talking to themselves, being like, I can finally, like, I don't know, get my dream job or something like that, talking about how after they get after they finally get their magic or their grimoires, they're gonna be able to get their jobs now, or after they get some magic spells in their books, they're gonna be able to get some spells. um this is when would a light would basically appear around and he would still be like the same attitude, and this is when the four-leaf grimoire would come down and touch what would be hands. And everybody's shocked. They're like, "What? Is that the four-leaf grimoire?" Um, and everybody's like, "Holy shit! A commoner got that the four-leaf grimoire? It shouldn't be possible. This is this system is rigged." Everybody would start going crazy because like, why didn't they get the grimoires? Get that grimoire because they're nobles after all. And Asta looking around, after seeing great entrance, would be like, uh, um, hey yo, where's my grimoire? And I'm gonna call him the grandmaster, or just the master of the library, um, would be like, sorry, better luck next time, you know, or next year. And Asta would be like, what? That's some bullshit. He's like, come on, dude, this is. So he's like, I trained my all my fucking life just for this, to not even get a grimoire. He's like, wow, I guess life is really cruel, isn't it? And this is when something literally shatters through the opening of what would be like the top of the library. I do believe there's like a little globe at the top of the library, letting like sun shine through, and a book would literally smash through it and start slowly descending upon Asta's hands. And while it descends, different it makes different appearances. At first, water particles are enveloped inside of the book. Then the burn starts burning. Then the book starts burning, actually. Then then some rocks start enveloping what would be the book. Then all types of magic would just start appearing right next to it. Would that be bronze or any type of magic? Fire, earth, water, light, darkness. And in the final moments before it reaches what would be Asta's hands, a dark shadow appears behind Asta as it smiles like a demon. Asta would hold the book, and instead of being a 5-leaf clover, this time it's a 6-leaf clover, showing the 4-leaf grimoire brings luck and happiness. The 5th one brings a demon, and the 6th one gives you all types of magic. So, basically, the book is split in half. All types of magic are on the left side, showing off like different elements, while on the left side, there's red. It's evenly divided though. The demon is on one side, and the magic is on one side. Basically, the master of the library would open his eyes even more and start whispering to himself, this era is about to change once again. As Asta holds out the book, he would open it to see edit is the only spell he has. As he starts reading it, he would be surprised by what the contents of the book said. It says, copy any magic and edit it to your will. And then under it says, it talks about the weaknesses. It says, all information needs to be gathered before you can copy a spell from somebody. And, that's the only weakness. As it closes, and it goes back to what would be his canister, or his grimoire canister, whatever it's called. And as the demon, who was smiling slowly, goes back into Asta's shadow. Everybody's scared of Asta at this point. They think he's a demon. They think what kind of grimoire is that? I've never seen such a thing. And wait, Wait, that's a that's not even a 4-leaf grimoire or a 5-leaf. That's a 6-leaf grimoire. I've never heard such a thing. Everybody slowly backs away from Asta, as Yuno does so too. Asta kind of pranks them as his eyes. He makes his eyes turn red for a second. He's like, mortals, I've come to devour your souls. As everybody starts screaming. And they're like, oh no. And Asta starts laughing. He's like, got you bitches. That's what you get for calling me a commoner. And, everybody's like, holy shit, you scared the living shit out of us, dude. What the hell? And, would come over to Asta and he's like, hey, yo, what kind of grimoire is that? And Asta's like, I don't really know. Um, it's a 6-leaf grimoire, and the only magic spell I have is, well, that's a secret. Um, Basically, like, Asta's like, I'll tell you a little later. Um, says, all right. He's like, well, congratulations on your grimoire. And Asta nods, and everybody starts surrounding what would be both and Asta. They're like, wow, you guys got such cool grimoires, especially the calmers. They're like, wow, at least we at least got like some kind of representative to show off, our commoner powers. And both Asta and kind of smile. Just like, we're gonna do this community good. And this is when Asta and would start walking out. And okay, so for I'm gonna get a question like this anyway, so I'm gonna address it right now. They're gonna be like, how did the grimoire, come out of the magic library? It didn't come out of the magic library, as I said. It shattered through the glass of the library, so it was literally like laying there for like hundreds of years until it found its rightful owner. So it literally flew through all the glass, through everybody, through like thousands or millions of miles, to come to Asta's hands. So that's a question I'll probably get, and I just answered it. So don't be asking that question. Anyways, I might actually make this a 30-minute part. Asta and would start going to like a secluded area and to talk about their grimoires. Asta's like, holy shit, you actually got the 4-leaf grimoire. Isn't that like supposed to bring like a luck and stuff? Yuno's like, yeah, I believe so. He's like, nah, I mean, Asta's like, hey, yo, what's the first, spell you got? And, opens his book and he wouldn't like show off. He would be like, it's called Wind Hurricane. Nah, Asta's like, uh, time to use my, my good memory and remember that, he like takes a screenshot of that in his memory so he doesn't forget. And Asta's like, all right, well, please don't tell this to anybody, but at least for now. He's like, and then he shows his grimoire, and Asta's eyes become almost pop out. He's like, are you joking? I didn't know there was such a thing. Asta's like, I didn't know either. I've never heard of this grimoire. I thought there was only like basic element grimoires like yours. Like, I mean, yours might be a special case, but like there's usually only like earth, fire, magic, or like, dark, light, stuff like that. I've never heard of this grimoire. And it's like, what this means, right? He's like, you can use all types of magic. You're not limited to just one. Asta's like, yeah, I know. And, he's like, but there's a downfall to this, as starts reading at the bottom. And Asta, nods, says, I understand. So that's why you wanted to let, I see my grimoire. Asta, cheekily smiles and rubs the back of his head. He's like, yeah, sorry, I did need to get like something in my book. And is like, all right, you know what? Next time I get another magic, I'll give it to you. Asta's like, really? It's like, I thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And is like, of course, we're brothers, aren't we? and you're my best friend anyways. And this is when slowly another another magic spell is written into Asta's book. Wind Hurricane. This is just a normal attack of Wind Hurricane. And as Asta is like, how can I edit this? I don't really see any like capabilities of this right now. Um so this is when what would be the attacker? I don't really remember his name. All right, so his name is Revchi, I believe. Um he's a former magic knight. So of course Revchi would ambush them with what would be his chains, I believe. And both Asta, well, Asta doesn't really get caught because of his lightning fast speeds. I mean, he did run for like, miles upon miles every day, which means he can avoid fast attacks like this pretty easily. Well, not pretty easily. If there's like 20, he's not gonna be able to avoid it. Um, but Yuno does get caught, and Refchi smiles. He's like, "Oh, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen a four-leaf grimoire in a while. I've never." Or he's like, "I've never seen this grimoire before. Oh, I can only imagine how much money this is gonna bring me. Oh man, oh man." He's like smiling deeply as he takes away what would be Yuno's grimoire. Asta would then yell at Refchi, "Give back his grimoire. It doesn't belong to you." Refchi's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do about it?" He's like, "What? Do you think your puny grimoire will be able to help you?" He's like, "Uh, I bet it's like I bet it's a commoner grimoire. I bet it's only like earth magic or something." He's like, "Oh man, I hate commoners." Asta's like, "See, this is exactly why I hate nobles like you or magic knights, people who think they're better than you when they're really not." Asta would then bring out what would be his new skill he learned from Yuno. Um, he would then yell out, "Wind Hurricane!" And oh yeah, by the way, I know this is not a spell that was given to us. I mean, in the very beginning, but I made it up so Asta can start out with like a pretty overpowered spell. And so can just like that as a heads up. But to his surprise, the Wind Hurricane isn't as powerful as he thought. It's like, what? This? I thought this was supposed to be like a hurricane. Doesn't hurricanes usually have like hundreds of miles of speed? This Wind Hurricane is actually like 2 or 3 times slower than what you would expect it to be. So the wind or the chain user blocks it. I mean, he does kind of have a little bit of difficulty, but he still blocks it. Asta's like, what? This what is this? I don't understand. I thought this was supposed to be more powerful. As he then once again gets grabbed by what would be the chains. It's like, oh, I see. That could have been very tricky. You're a wind user, I see, which is not half bad. But still, it's too weak. He's like, I can. That's why That's why is the best of you. You're never gonna be better than him. You're only a weak commoner. Asta starts looking down. He's like, I guess this is true. I didn't get as powerful grimoire as he did. He then, hears Yuno shout. He's like, no, Asta's way powerful than you think. He's even gonna be more powerful than me. Because he's my rival. As Asta starts looking back up again. Smiles to Asta, like giving him a confidence boost. So Asta opens back up his grimoire, and this time, instead of looking at the right side of his book, what would be like his, use spells. He looks at the left side as he pulls out a sword, or dark demonic sword. He then just slashes once and all the chains are gone. He then starts walking. This is still the same Asta as we know because he isn't using his edit magic actually. So he starts walking over to what would be Ref G. Ref G, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Um, so he starts walking over to what would be Ref G. Ref G is terrified. It's like, what are you? He's like, I'm gonna become the next wizard. I'm the next wizard's king. As he basically, you know, slashes his anti-magic sword once again to where Ref G would be, and this makes him pass out. Is finally broken from the bonds of Ref G, and applauds him for how powerful he is. He's like, not only do you get like an overpowered fucking spell at the get go, you also get a sword that repels any magic. It's like, I'm kind of being kind of jealous right now. Starts smiling. He's like, ha, let's don't worry though. We're both gonna become more powerful. We're both gonna become, more powerful. As they both start heading back to the church, getting ready for what would be the I believe the Magic Knight selection, I believe. Um, so they both start training. And that's gonna be the end of this what if or this episode. Hope you guys like this 31 minute part. Um, it took a second. I don't usually do these kind of what ifs, so or these type of long what ifs. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and you know subscribe if you're new. I make content like this every once in a while, or every other day. I'm gonna try, but I have a lot of homework right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and like try to minimize me recording and go ahead and do my homework as this is summer break. Anyways, make sure to come and hop in my Discord if you're interested in talking to other people, because that's what Discord is for. Um, but anyways, hope you guys have a good day.